One of our favorite things here at Rowdy is when members of the Rowdy Nation send us free food.
Good
and
food.
We have a loyal listener in Australia. Her username is Ardmore C. Tanya is her real name. And she sent us some Vegemite, which I didn't know it's a craft product. And so today, on today's Rowdy.com Big 3 video, we're going to start off by Buck Fever sampling the Vegemite. It is. Take a big... Mmm. I guess I have to do it too, huh? Where's it here? Here. I'm trying to find one. Here.
In all fairness, the Australians are out of their minds.
Welcome to the Rowdy.com Big 3 for today, Tuesday, May 11th. I'm Buzz Cutler, filling in for Bassmasters. Buck Fever to my right.
Yes, always to your right.
Always to my right. Issue number 1 today. I want to spend today talking about some drivers, and I want to start off by talking about Tony Stewart. He has just fallen off and seems to be struggling. What do you make of Smoke's woes of late?
I think it's really one of the most bizarre things I've seen in a long time. This is what I expected to happen last year. I expected with a new team him to struggle and to not do well. So last year he does fairly well. I mean, it's great for a brand new team. He's struggling really badly. And even Ryan Newman's doing better than he is. It's a bizarre situation, and you don't expect it. You know, it's like Dale Jr. There's something going on, and I don't know what it is.
What's interesting is that Tony Stewart outran Ryan Newman for the first 5 races of the season, and Ryan Newman has outpaced Tony in 5 of the last 6.
Crazy.
The only thing I can figure, and this seems odd, but the only thing I can figure is his fall-off started when the spoiler came on board.
Okay.
You know, for the first 5 races, we had the wing. He was running competitively. He finished second at Bristol. Then at Martinsville, we switched to a spoiler, and all of a sudden he's, you know, he's logging 23rds. Now, it seems odd because Darian Grubb is good enough and he's good enough that you'd think they have this thing figured out, especially the way Ryan Newman is running. You'd think, well, can't they just take that info and put it on Stewart's car?
You'd think.
So there's something weird.
And the same thing seems to be happening, possibly, to Jimmy Johnson.
I don't know. I think both those guys, Johnson and Stewart, they're going to get this thing figured out. I'm not concerned about their ability to make the chase.
I am very concerned about Tony's ability to make the chase. I really am. It's shocking.
Speaking of chase concerns, let's move on to issue number 2 and talk a little bit about Carl Edwards. In the Rowdy Race Day chat, we have a chat room live and open for every race. Becky, longtime Rowdy member and longtime Carl Edwards fan, said she thinks it might be time to give Bob Osborne ye old heave-ho.
But I don't think we should get rid of the Wizard of Oz. I really don't think we should, because if you look at all the Roush cars, they seem to all be sort of a tick down. They're not Tony Stewart down on the floor. They're just a tick down, whether it's a loss of power. I don't know what it is, but across the board, they seem to not be winning cars.
Well, Becky's point was, obviously, Carl Edwards hasn't just forgotten how to drive, and while that's true, has Bob Osborne just forgotten how to crew chief?
Yeah.
I can't imagine that he has. And has Carl Edwards been a little bit behind Greg Biffle and Matt Kenseth? Certainly at the beginning of the season it appeared that way, but I don't think he's he's appreciably worse off than they are. The other thing about this story that I can't help but thinking is that, remember, the new FR9 engine is going to debut across the Ford board.
Across the board.
As of Daytona, and it's going to be in place for the rest of the season. So let's see how that impacts these guys. Maybe they've been putting their attention towards integrating that, and perhaps their present package they've sort of given short shrift to. I don't know, but it stands to reason. Remember, that engine was developed in 2008 and was supposed to premiere in 2009, so it's been a little bit of a tumultuous road getting that engine in place, and maybe that has something to do with it. Now, issue number 3, we heard over the weekend that Kevin Harvick and Richard Childress are very close to signing a contract extension. My question is this: how much of this do you think is due to the fact that Casey Kane needs a place next season and will probably end up at Stewart-Haas? If it wasn't for Casey Kane, do you think Kevin Harvick would be signing this contract extension?
Well, now you threw me a curveball, Cutler. I didn't expect that end of the question. I think Casey Kane does. I think you got a good point there. I think there's no room at the inn for Kevin Harvick, and he probably would probably love to race for Tony Stewart. But and they seem to be good friends because Tony's actually raced for his nationwide team. So they're tight, and I'll bet you Tony just said, "Hey, look, Kevin, I don't have the sponsors, and Casey Kane's coming in, and the boss man wants him in." Good question.
Yeah, Tony Stewart doesn't even have a sponsor for himself,
I know.
let alone a third car. So you got to hope that Hendrick and Casey Kane are helping him out in that regard. I think, and I don't have any inside information. This is
wild-ass, rowdy speculation.
Patented wild-ass speculation that we love to engage in here at
Two
Rowdy.
dumb fans.
I think Kevin Harvick probably did and does want to leave Richard Childress Racing, but there's no place for him to go. Stewart-Haas was the logical place for him to end up. While nobody is saying anything, where the hell else is Casey Kane going to go for a year other than Stewart-Haas? Yeah. So Richard Childress really benefited from Kevin Harvick's lack of options and vice versa. So I do think that this is a direct result of the Casey Kane, Hendrick little weirdness that's going on for the next 2 years. But
little weirdness.
I also think that being atop the point standings probably heals a lot of wounds.
It sure as hell does. Winning heals a lot of wounds.
All right.
Absolutely.
Thank you for watching the Rowdy.com Big Three. If you want to send us any free food that perhaps is not Vegemite,
something that looks like chocolate but sure as hell doesn't taste like it,
feel free to do so. For Buck Fever, I'm Buzz Cutler. Bass will be back tomorrow for another Rowdy.com Big Three.
Rowdy.com. Say it like it is.
Say what like it is?
Rowdy.com.